What's going on, YouTube? JT's Reborn here, and welcome back to another edition of my DC comic book reviews. And in today's video, we're going to be talking about Catwoman issue number 34. So, in good news, I have finally caught up with reading all of the entire Catwoman run. I talked about this last week when I was reviewing the Harley Quinn issues, and I was going to make it a mission to go ahead and read all of Catwoman. And it took me up till today, but I finally was able to finish reading the entire run from issue 1 all the way up to whatever is it, issue 36, and that includes the annuals and the anniversary special. It took a bit of time because it's like 30-something issues, and there's some annuals thrown in there, and then there's an anniversary 100-page spectacular, but I spent a long time trying to read this whole thing, so I'm all caught up. I'm going to get these next 3 videos out, and then I will be all caught up with Fear State just in time for tomorrow. So, yes, finally. I said I'd be done, and I'd be caught up, and that is the plan. But this issue, it's listed as one of those titles that's like a tying event to Fear State, but really Fear State kind of begins in the issue after this. But this is on that checklist, so I figured I'd go ahead and talk about it. But anyways, so this one's written by Ram V, and I guess I could give my quick thoughts on the Catwoman book since I just went ahead and read the whole entire thing. My impression is, when this book initially started, I did pick up the first couple issues, but I was kind of like bored with it. I didn't really find the story that engaging, so I dropped it pretty early on. So after like the first 3 issues, I'm like, okay, this isn't really doing it for me. The art's not doing it for me. The story itself with the whole Creole family wasn't really engaging me all that much. So I just decided, what the heck, I'll drop the book. But now that Fear State's here and we got all the tie-ins in this, I decided to go ahead and read the entire thing. Now, if you have the DC Infinite subscription, they have the first, from issue 1 to issue 30, including the anniversary special and the annuals and that. So I read all the issues there, and then I picked up the remaining issues after that. And as the series went on, it definitely did get better, especially when Ram V took over. Like, there's a few pretty engaging stories throughout. It just took a bit to kind of get into under the Joel Jones whole storyline with that there too. Like, it definitely took a bit of time, but now I feel like as I've kind of been reading the whole thing, I definitely got more into it. So, quickly to summarize what happened in the last issue before this, Catwoman's in a fight. She ends up getting rescued by Batman, and this is all going on during the phase where Batman and Catwoman agreed to kind of take a bit of a break from each other. Batman even shows a bit of jealousy of this Detective Hadley character who's appeared throughout this run when he's showcasing that he definitely cares for Selina, and then you had Selina's sister, Maggie, in there. And she's like, oh, he's cute, Selina. Maybe you should do something with this guy. And he's just kind of, like, there's definitely a hint of jealousy with Batman, but Hadley's still kind of keeping things professional. And he gives Batman the tip to try and keep Selina safe because he ultimately does care about her in some way. Is it romantic or is it something else? I don't exactly know, like, but unfortunately there's not enough time to really explore that. And as I was reading this, I was kind of waiting for something like this to kind of happen, but basically, Selina goes off and she fights this character known as Father Valley, who's appeared throughout it, who wants to kill her. He's part of the Order of St. Dumas, and all that. So Hadley figures out that Father Valley is targeting Selina's sister Maggie, and he gets there just in time to save her, but unfortunately, he is killed off by Valley, whose original target was Selina's sister Maggie. But thanks to Detective Hadley, he was able to kind of get in the way to save Maggie from being killed, ultimately sacrificing his life. Selina would not have been able to make it without the help of Hadley. And it is kind of a bit of a sad, tragic thing, because I was actually kind of liking this character of Detective Hadley. Yeah, it's the more tragic backstory, and of course, when it comes to a love interest for a Catwoman or some of the other major heroes, they're always inevitably going to die because DC will ultimately revert back to their more iconic ones. This happens so frequently. It's like, oh, if we thought for a minute they might have something. Actually, no, it's just whenever a new writer takes over or editorial comes in, it's like, no, we got to stick to the iconic ones. Catwoman can't potentially explore any other relationships unless it's with Batman. Like, that's who she's forever linked to. She can't actually go and try new things. It's got to be Batman. And originally I'd be kind of okay with that, but when I read the Tom King Batman book, it made me forever kind of, it put a bad taste in my mouth when it comes to Batman and Catwoman. Their interactions here are better, But it's gotten to the point where I'm just like, no, I don't really want to see these two together. That whole wedding fiasco just dragged on for so long, and it was just a complete, like, bait and switch, like, waste of time. Like, you know what? I'm okay with Batman and Catwoman just not being together anymore. Like, you dragged the audience along for so long, and you just wrote them really kind of annoying as a couple. And when there's, like, one panel that quickly completely sums up everything that's wrong when it comes to the relationship thing. And originally I did like Batman and Catwoman together, but, like, seeing something like this where the whole riots are going on and they're just kind of hugging and kissing and all that stuff. Yeah, let's just take a moment and oversee the riot scene instead of just be like, look, we can smooch and all that later, but this whole town is just, there's so much chaos in this going on. It's probably not the most ideal time to do this sort of thing. But overall consensus, I did like this issue. I've never really been huge into the Father Valley character as I read this thing, even, like, reading the annual. Granted, I did read this all pretty quick, like, within a span of a week, so, like, a lot of it's still fresh in my mind, but I didn't particularly, like, ever find this character all that interesting. And yeah, so when they did stuff, I'm like, okay, that's just kind of that. But I like the stuff that they're doing with Selina in this book. I think some of it's pretty engaging. Like, this ending in particular is kind of a sad, tragic one, because there was... but I also feel kind of bummed that there wasn't more to be explored with this Hadley character. I wish we would have kind of gotten a few more issues with him. But it ultimately is just kind of the sad, inevitable tragedy of somebody just there trying to help out, and ultimately they just meet their end. But yeah, overall consensus, I did like this issue. It did showcase there's some gripes I had, like Batman and Catwoman. Yeah, I get it, you two are taking a little bit of a break, but the whole freaking city is being destroyed right now. Can't you just hold off on your happy moments just for a little bit? Like, I could understand maybe just a kiss, but they're literally sitting, hugging each other, taking a minute. Let's look at the riot scene in the background. No. Batman should be, like, all action right now. Like, he should be out there stopping this. And I get they have their feelings for each other, but you really should just kind of, I don't know, wait a minute for all that. But yeah, those are my thoughts on it. Could have been a little bit stronger in some ways. I would have preferred if they kept Hadley alive a little bit longer. But it's kind of predictable. Like, I knew inevitably, like, okay, if he's flirting with Selina, at some point this guy's going to die. Or maybe he was going to end up with her sister, who's also kind of gone by the next issue in this. But anyways, what did you think of Catwoman issue number 34? Did you like it? Did you dislike it? Tell me your thoughts in the comment section down below. Be sure to hit that bell for notifications, like this video, share it with your friends, subscribe to the YouTube channel for more content. Be sure to come back right after this. I'm going to be posting videos on issues 34, 35, and 36. So that's all I got to say. As always, take care now. Bye-bye then, and I will see you all in the next video. Peace.